Hi, my name is Katie Graham, and I'm the Department of Rehabilitation Services Transition Coordinator.
And my name is Alicia Torres. I am a voc rehab counselor out of the Sioux Falls office. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what vocational rehabilitation can do for you. So what is voc rehab? It is a program that provides individualized services to assist people with significant disabilities to keep and obtain jobs compatible with their disabilities. Anyone who has a diagnosed disability is eligible for voc rehab services. How does VR work? There's an application process where you meet with your voc rehab counselor and they assess your disability, your employment history, and your unique interests, strengths, and abilities. When the assessment is complete, you and your counselor identify and agree on an employment goal. This is considered your individualized plan for employment, or IPE. That outlines who pays for each service that you will be receiving. There is no charge for voc rehab services. However, some services are based upon your economic need and the availability of source funding, such as health insurance, federal grants, and benefits. The process is pretty short to become eligible for voc rehab services, and it can last as long as you need it to last. Whether you need it once in your lifetime or numerous times, voc rehab will always be there for you when you need assistance finding a job.
And today we're just going to highlight a few of the questions that we get frequently asked to better explain how our services work. So how is a person found eligible for VR services? You must have a documented disability. This documentation can include IEP paperwork, 504 paperwork, evaluation results from a school or private psychologist, or records from a primary or specialty medical provider. Impairment to employment could be that you've tried looking for employment without help and haven't been able to secure or maintain employment. And then requiring VR services could be accommodations or similar to the accommodations or extra help you get from your special education teacher, which those services could be available at post-secondary schooling or on a job to be successful in that environment. The best way to determine if you're eligible for VR services is to contact the voc rehab counselor that works with your school district and ask to schedule an application.
True or false? A person is only eligible for voc rehab services if they have a drug or alcohol problem. This answer is false. While some people hear the word vocational rehabilitation, they assume rehabilitation as in drug or alcohol treatment. While we do help some people that have drug or alcohol problems, rehabilitation is more about rehabbing the person to become successful on a job despite the fact that they have some limitation because of their diagnosed disability.
How much does it cost to receive VR services? Is it A, $25, B, $250, C, $2,500, or D, free? So our services are free. There are some services that we provide that requires that you meet our financial need guidelines, such as tuition and book assistance at a post-secondary level. And you will need to talk to your voc rehab counselor to talk specifically about your situation, but there are no costs for you to receive our services.
What is it called when you know about your disability and you can ask for help that you need? This is called self-advocacy. If you don't know what your disability is, now is the time to find out. You should know what your diagnosis is, what supports you receive from your SPED teacher, and understand whether or not those supports will continue at a post-secondary or on a job. If they won't be available after high school, have the conversation about removing those supports so you aren't dependent on them at a post-secondary or on the job.
Who is the person that can help you choose a compatible employment goal based on interest and skills? Your voc rehab counselor. So through assessments and conversations with you about what works and doesn't work for you, counselors will work with you to determine an employment goal that is compatible with interests and skills. Once that compatible goal is determined, they can work with you to determine what steps are required to meet that employment goal.
What is the name of the plan developed by you and your VR counselor to authorize services? This is known as the Individualized Plan for Employment, or the IPE. I touched on this a little bit earlier. What the IEP can have in it is anything from counseling and guidance alone to financial assistance as post-secondary, assistive technology, anything like that that you might need while you're in post-secondary. And then after post-secondary could be job coaching, assistance with your resume, anything like that that you might need would all be on your individualized plan for employment.
What do you need to do if you're having difficulties at work? Take initiative and ask for help. No one will know if you're struggling with something at work if you don't speak up. And you can talk to your voc rehab counselor to start talking about any difficulties that you may have. And then that way they can assist you with problem solving to get things going a little better for you on the job.
What employment programs are available to eligible high school students with disabilities? Project Skills and Project Search are two of the services that we can assist with while you are in high school. Project Skills is typically done during the school day, and Project Search is actually at the Avera site in Sioux Falls, and there's a couple of other sites throughout the state of South Dakota. In order to attend either one of these programs, you have to have school district approval. So if you are interested, please talk with your teacher or your voc rehab counselor.
Who is the person that should lead the IEP and IPE meetings to ask for what he or she needs to be successful? You. Nobody knows you better than you, so be sure to participate in these meetings at the high school and with your voc rehab counselor. Don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions if during these meetings you have any. We're all here for you and to provide you the services that you need, so don't be afraid to speak up.
What is the leadership camp to increase a student's self-advocacy and leadership skills? This is known as the Youth Leadership Forum, or YLF. There's an abundance of information, extra videos, everything you need to know about YLF and how to apply. You need to go to the tslp.org website or talk with your VR counselor if you have questions about this.
True or false? VR services end once you graduate from high school. So this is false. VR services is for adults with disabilities. It can start as early as age 14 and we can work with people as old as 84, 85 years old. So as long as you're maintaining communication with your voc rehab counselor and you're still actively participating in your IPE and the services related to that, your case will remain open. And if you find a job and you've been successfully closed, you can always come back for services down the road if you need additional assistance.
Who can help you prepare for job search, application assistance, resume development, or mock interviews? This is your voc rehab counselor. The voc rehab counselor's job is to help with any and all employment services necessary to help people become successfully employed. So application assistance, resume development, and mock interviews are just a few things they can work with you on. Career exploration and breaking down jobs for you to determine if that job matches your interest, ability, and skills is also a huge part of what we can do for you.
Who helps a new employee learn their work duties once a job has been found? Obviously, the employer will be a major player in helping a new employee understanding the tasks assigned. And some people may need a little extra help, so VR can pay for a job coach to be with you when starting a new job to help you develop a routine and help you understand the best way to get things done.
Name at least 2 characteristics of successful employees. Dressing appropriately, good attendance, complying with directions, getting along with coworkers, taking initiative, and many more. TSLP holds Let's Talk About Work events throughout the state in the fall, so keep an eye on their events page tab or talk to your teacher and or VR counselor to learn which one has been scheduled near you.
How can VR help me if I'm going to post-secondary school? There's a lot of services that Voc Rehab can assist with. Assistive technology devices for you to study independently, school planning, determining which school will be the best match for you, possible tuition assistance if you meet our financial need. We can assist you with connecting you to the disability coordinator so that any accommodations that might be available at that level is also available to you at the post-secondary. There is a Catch the Wave portion on the tslp.org website, and there's a bunch of videos on there that you can take a look at to learn the differences between high school supports and those supports that are available at the post-secondary level. The TSLP also hosts events in the spring where you can attend with your parents to find out more about those services that are available.
Why is it important to be able to advocate for yourself? To be successful, no one is going to advocate for the supports or services that you may need to be successful at post-secondary or on a job. So it's important that you begin to advocate for yourself now. While your VR counselor and teacher can guide you in this process, we cannot do it for you. This is something that you need to be responsible for, advocating for yourself and your goals.
All right, so that's all we've got for today. If you have additional questions, you can always call or email Alicia and myself, and we'd be happy to help. Or again, you can always talk to the Voc Rehab counselor that covers your school district. Your special education teacher should know who that is, so make sure that they reach out to ask for an application or to ask specific questions that are for you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.